Leclerc is about a few hundredths up on George Russell through the first two sectors. At the moment, he is P14. Where does this lap leave Charles Leclerc? It leaves him only 12th. And now this is going to be a tense few moments as Grosjean goes 13th, lifts himself out of the bottom five as Gasly goes 4th fastest for Alpha Tauri. George Russell goes 12th fastest ahead of Charles Leclerc. Danny Kvyat, who wanted his teammate to get a move on, now goes 5th and Leclerc is only 14th. Sebastian Vettel crosses the line and pushes his teammate down into 15th. Leclerc is now the driver at risk as Perez goes 8th fastest overall. And behind, we're just looking now for Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi. Lance Stroll is currently 10th. He goes 5th fastest overall. On board with Nicholas Latifi, who's in the bottom 3. He's still in the bottom 5. He's still in the bottom 5. Goes 17th fastest. Giovinazzi replaces him in the Alfa Romeo. Kimi Räikkönen moves up, but only into 16th, and that leaves Charles Leclerc safe and Sebastian Vettel safe. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, was that close.
It was. Magnussen went off the track. I don't think he was going to threaten the Ferrari. So, yeah.
Perfect conditions for the cars to go faster. Nice and cool, track ramping up as well. Perez goes into the top 6. Is that going to be enough then for the Racing Point? As Stroll just goes ahead of him and goes 5th fastest overall. George Russell on his one lap in Q2 goes 13th fastest ahead of Vettel and Leclerc, who we can see now rounding the bus stop chicane. Gasly into the top 10, but only 9th. 13th for Leclerc. That's as good as he can manage in the Ferrari today. Kvyat goes in to the top 10, is ahead of Gasly. He's putting Gasly very much at risk here as Lando Norris now puts Gasly out of the top 10. It's the first time this season that Kvyat has out-qualified Gasly. Ocon goes 6th fastest overall. We look now for Carlos Sainz, who goes 4th fastest in the McLaren, and Sebastian Vettel. Any chance he can get it into Q3? No chance at all. Only the Williams of George Russell is behind him. Now, Max Verstappen and Alex Albon, they are both safe. Verstappen is going to finish his lap and pulls over to the left-hand side of the track to make sure that he doesn't go any faster than he did on the medium tyres. Albon goes 3rd fastest as Hamilton then slows. Valtteri Bottas will slow as well to not improve their time. It's also to make sure that Max starts on the medium tyre tomorrow. Both Ferraris out in Q2, 13th and 14th. The 2 Alpha Tauris are out, the 2 McLarens made it through, along with Perez and Stroll and Ricciardo and Verstappen, Albon, Bottas and Hamilton.
Lovely, neat and tidy lap so far for Lewis. Just got to rotate it around that curve. There it is, sweet as. Direction change, good. Back end still complaining as he buried the throttle. This is going to be a cracker.
1:41.4 for Lewis Hamilton. He was 0.8 of a second up on his teammate through the first 2 sectors. And it is a new track record, isn't it? A 1:41.4 for Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen goes 2nd fastest. Valtteri Bottas now goes 2nd fastest, but there was 0.6 of a second difference between the 2 Mercedes. Ocon pops up into 4th fastest ahead of Lando Norris. Now Alex Albon goes 4th fastest, only 0.2 behind his teammate Max Verstappen, as Ricciardo puts in a time for P3 in the Renault. And they'll be mightily glad they got him back out on the track, because that's a pace that he showed on Friday afternoon, and it's confirmed here in Q3. Lance Stroll will be next to cross the line, and as he does so, well, only 9th fastest for Stroll and 8th fastest for Perez in the Racing Point, which they might feel is about 3 or 4 places behind where they expected. Bottas was too far back to get any advantage from a toe, and he's already nearly 0.2 away from his teammate on this lap, and we've got more than half of the lap to go.
Yep, down the hill to Pouin. I'd like to be on board with him there, because I think it's just literally just a little lift of throttle and then down, probably 7th gear, and then a little switch across the track. Look at that, he's so confident to just flick the steering wheel. The car will live with it. I mean, that's got to be easily the grippiest racing car in history. Like it's on rails.
And that's the best middle sector we've had in this qualifying session so far. Hamilton is stretching his advantage out in front. Has Bottas got anything to answer back? Not as it stands at the moment. He's lost even more time to his teammate during the middle sector. Elsewhere, Daniel Ricciardo is just coming to the end of the first sector. He is 10th up on Max Verstappen. He's a couple of tenths up on Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton crosses the line. That should be pole for the Belgian Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Valtteri Bottas to cross the line now, and it is front row for Valtteri and a massive half a second back on his teammate. Hamilton breaks another track record at Spa. Alex Albon crosses the line in 5th place behind his teammate Max Verstappen, who moves up into 3rd with a very good final sector. We're now on board with Lando Norris fighting it all the way, currently in 10th at the moment. He's ahead of Ocon, Ricciardo and Sainz as the 4 that are still going for their flying laps here and are having a cracking battle between McLaren and Renault. Through Blanchard we go now with Lando Norris, who leads his teammate Carlos Sainz by 4 races to 2 in qualifying this season. At the moment is behind Sainz in qualifying this afternoon, but where is this lap going to put the youngster from Glastonbury? Crosses the line, Norris stays down in 10th, he's out qualified by Sainz. Ocon moves himself up into 6th, above Sainz, Norris's teammate. Round the corner comes the Spaniard now. Carlos Sainz crosses the line and stays down in 7th as Daniel Ricciardo aborts his lap and obviously thought we weren't going to go any faster, but that is a 2nd row for Daniel Ricciardo for the first time ever here in Spa. It's a pole for a 6th time for Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton was just on a different level in qualifying today.
Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo, all going into that chicane together. I hope it doesn't rain.
Absolutely. Well, do you know what? I hope it does rain. But yeah, there's
just not the start. I want a dry start.
The Mercedes are carrying a fair old amount of wing, and you have to say Verstappen and Ricciardo, as long as they don't start tripping over each other, will be right there when they get to Le Mans.